Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about where society stands, because last night or in the morning I spoke about how it's all the same, no one's changed. Again, I had 2 doctor's appointments today and they were all saying the same thing, and it's just repetitive. I've lived my whole life and nothing's changed. So you wonder, what is society right now? All I know is that I have been given the ability to formulate thoughts and come up with ideas for physics and other avenues. Now, I can't fully understand them, and neither can anyone else at this time. But given that, I've found some weird things in this still culture. For one, fentanyl is being sold on the streets and killing hundreds of thousands every year, and it's gotten to the point where I'm seeing something, and the society has boundaries. If you step outside of the boundary, or you have a health ailment and you're not in with everyone else, you're going to suffer. There's a penalty, because they have the knowledge to say what's on their mind within the group that they hold against us. Now, that's pretty intense. This guy, I don't know what he looks like, but he's different than Saw. He's just very, very sick looking. You might call him the devil. You might call him whatever you want. But this is what he does. He creates a society where rules apply, and everyone that doesn't fit the criteria is slowly destroyed. And it is this survival of the fittest mentality, brought on by evolution perhaps. But it's really something to think about, because there's so much space out there, and being as nothing's changed, you wonder, what would an alien species of a higher advantage point say to us right now? They'd say, screw them. They're wiping out their hearts. They're wiping out their dreamers. They're destroying segments of the population because they can. And fentanyl is just going to keep on going. They will save lives, but they keep track of you. They monitor you and treat you like an experiment. It's sad, really, because you see this guy, this deformed devil, as you see in society right now, toying with you, making you sign on the dotted line, signing your life away to destroy slowly. And then you see Saw, this guy who wants to do something about the nations, and they want to destroy the nations. So you have these 2 forces going at each other, and it's really sad, because being that nothing's changed, you think that Saw might have won against this societal psychopath. So it's this Saw guy, this insane guy, versus this societal sociopath that's sane. And they're going head to head right now. And here you have the aliens, way above you, the angels, and they're saying, who the fuck do these civilizations think they are? They're turning into hell, and they expect to go to heaven. And they send words down to us in messages, and we don't really care to listen to them. They show us what we are in music. They show us what we are in spirit. And we need to learn that we are a religious culture as one, not as separate, as one. That's all there is. Now, Saw, this insane guy, he says if they're not willing to come together as one, it's done. There's no going back. It's over. He's that insane, guys. He controlled the world at one time, and he did what he wanted to it. He created this societal sociopath so they would go to war. He's that crazy. And now you're seeing it. There's two forces at work. One is Venom, and the other is not Spider-Man, it's that twisted other Venom. That other alien that really takes on skin. It's our suit in some ways. Humanity has a suit. A black suit and a red suit. And they put it on to challenge each other. And guess what? If we're not willing to see how sick this world is, if we can't see that we're making boundaries that is isolating people religiously, and we're so much into ourselves that we can't step up, that we're so blocked out because we're controlled by courses of events that can't be stopped. If we can't wake up from that, where are we? We're not in anywhere. We're in purgatory. And we have to ask to the heavens to be let in. We have to pray to the heavens to be let in. And that means giving up. That means China needs to give up. That means France needs to give up. That means Russia needs to give up. And that also means America needs to rise. It needs to rise. And that means we see the change. And Cuba doesn't go banana on us all. So there you go. Now, these two guys, the societal sociopath and Saw, they're like night and day. But they hate each other. Saw is crazy enough to create him. And it's kind of like Transformers, if you think about it. The movies. If you think about Transformers, it's similar to how we need to imagine these two. Because they are controlling us in the future. Their minds are representative to what is functioning in society. Now, what will happen is society will take on the sociopathic societal brain, then it will take on the war brain of Saw, the rip limbs from trees, the cage your brain. That's what Saw is. And you see it. They all want nations to have that day where they remove the rest. They can't get around it. They are that dark at their core. They can't see that there's a third guy, and that's right above us. Those angels. And they're watching us. And they're saying, you've forgotten about us. You've forgotten what we are. And because of that, you're going to make the same mistakes. You're not going to give them second chances. Because they need to give in to us. Not the sociopathic society. Not the Saw. The angels. Because they said, you're worshiping the wrong God. And you're worshiping the wrong society. To be better, you have to understand physics. Physics will heal us. That's all they said. And they said if everyone were to learn physics and go beyond, if everyone was made mandatory to go to college, learn physics, quantum, everything, if they all put in 100% into one field, things would change. Now, what else is there? There is this common place where we all know the truth. Two guys going at each other, and the angel, way up here, saying, why? Why would we create them both? Why create them to show how sanity and insanity were going to destroy time if we had allowed it? We're now being seen as a theater of the universe. And if we can't get through it, if we can't figure out a way to use what we've learned to go beyond and to meet our heavenly maker, then guess what? We're never going to get out of here alive. We're going to be stuck here forever, doing the same events, the same thing, over and over and over again. And I'll tell you right now, step 1, save the autistic, save the handicapped, and number 2, save those who are going to take fentanyl. And we can determine who's going to take fentanyl. We can save them because we want them to be aware. We want them to be aware they've been saved. If we save them, they will come back and love. And that's worth more than words. Love. I'm handicapped. I probably had slight autism all my life, then schizophrenia and Crohn's disease. And I've been very handicapped because of that. I tried my best in school. I got honors. But I had challenges. It took a lot for me to learn because my mind couldn't think the same way as other people. Now what can happen is if we are able to tap in to the autistic mind and heal the mind through waves, through a bunch of technology that's coming, we're going to see them do wondrous things. They're going to do wondrous things because they have ways of thinking that can produce. It's just harnessing that. Just like the Canadian Shield can produce in time, autism can produce in time. In fact, it teaches us lessons right now on what being human means. Now, I have issues with the fentanyl crisis. I see so many innocent minds that don't understand being wiped out. I see us pooling thoughts together, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing that we want to communicate and see how dark our world is, because it's this this sociopathic society guy and the Saw guy that are interacting online, and they're supposedly telling us we're going down. Humanity is going down. It's spooky. It's a horror. And it's so shocking that everyone is being played as a fool. We can't get our minds beyond our conception of what good economic policy is and what good nations can be if they come to that ultimate theory of relativity and the universe. If we actually adapt more conceptual awareness to Einstein and to other major minds that have gone further, we might actually come to a point where we're able to see similarities between communism and capitalism. It's a small gap. They see it as a big gap. I see it as a small gap. There's much bigger gaps out there. The Klingon, the darkest aliens you'll ever see. No, I'm not talking about African Americans. Sorry. I'm talking about the human condition. We're all alien. And I'm telling you, I love the stride of time. if we only conceptualize the fundamental quality of care we receive. It's the care that I will die for. I will die for a single payer. I will die for the best quality care at the most affordable price. And it means no one else will die the same way, hopefully. That's all I want. I want my life to be not in vain. I want there to be an awareness. I want there to be some level of security in people's lives so they don't have to stress about the societal sociopath and the insane saw. Because we need to think about something else. All we're thinking about is these two components. And they're not happy. They're not happy at all. They're deciding on so much shit. They're discussing how to break bonds, how to dissect, how to crumble the opposition. And you know what? The 1%, I don't really give a fuck. If they're here or not, I just want the world to go somewhere. That's all I want. Why care about removing the 1% when all it does is say that we're not willing to progress and help each other? Because guess what? If they're willing to help each other, then why can't the rest of us? And that's the conclusion I've come to. You know what? There's no point in sharing everything. Some people are destined to have more, but they need to do what they can. They need to support the whole. And you know what? I've come to another conclusion. That in time, money's not going to be an issue. Give it 10,000 years, money won't exist. Not because of a revolution, because our minds will have progressed. I see it now. The mind just hasn't gotten there yet. If our minds had gotten there, we wouldn't care one way or another whether there was money or not. It wouldn't make a bit of difference. All we care about is being productive. All we care about is experiencing some joy, some hope, some love, and maybe, just maybe, some peace of mind. And I know the stress in everyone is so high. I pray for some peace of mind. That's all. Because if we thought hard enough, we'd form policies that would bridge the small gap. So maybe we'd learn how to bridge the bigger gaps when we get to them, once we get out of this little earth. It's a little earth. And it's so sweet in ways, because it's just a small fossil. A fossil in time. That's what Earth is. But guess what? There's more to space. There's fossils in space. There's fossils everywhere. And what is a fossil? It can be anything. It doesn't have to be a dinosaur. It doesn't have to be old vegetation. Fossils are air. Fossils are time. And when we think of time, we think of something rather odd. But can time be matter? Can time actually be space? And how much space is there? Is there unlimited space or unlimited time? It's a question rather puzzling. Because anti-time, what's that? Antimatter, anti-time? There has to be something of a comparison. What are we asking ourselves? We're asking ourselves, how many people are there? We have sociopathic society guy and saw guy. How many other choices do we have? Because right now we're stuck with these two. And we know there's something up above. And guess what? if we can just get to the next level. We're stuck in levels, people. We're stuck in so many levels that we don't see it. We don't see where we actually are going if we just remove the considerate captioning. We'd see everything. We'd see there is a space for everyone on this world, and that there is a time to give, there's a time to take. We all do what we can, and we all can love in the most humble way, and that's freely acknowledging that a nation is just a battery. That's all a nation is. It's a battery. It's electricity. That's it. And once that goes, what do we have? We have a planet, we have a existence, and we have similar features. We all have a face. We all can do what we do to make ourselves look similar or make ourselves look different. We can all consider ourselves spatial or commodities. We can all consider ourselves where we are or from beyond. And we can all gather or we can disperse. So what we are is rather strange to them, the aliens, because they see a clusterflop, a situation where we don't give each other enough time, we don't show each other enough respect, and we don't deliver on any service or good that makes us all see each other better. We need ways to actually accept that we may be condemned here, not by them, not by these two guys, but the fact that we had too much to think about. We didn't know how simple we needed to make it. We complicated things way too much. And guess what? When it comes down to it, a community is just as strong as a government, because a community is the life force. It's the people around you that will determine whether you live or you die. It's the people around you that will fail you or make you a success. And there's nothing against that. There's just one Earth. And soon enough, we'll see that it's coming to community. Obama wasn't wrong about community service. It's the lifeblood of the future. The community will do. The community will think. The community will give all of us the options we need to survive. The community is gold. The community is the only legitimate currency. That's it. If we cut out all the fears and all the red tape, we have community. It's community healthcare. It's community association. It's community gifts and services. It's community in all senses. We are one. Thank you. God bless.